could run with you. And from what I have heard, you do the same thing too. I wanna say forever, we could be good together.
Alright guys, so we actually are going to do a Carnival Magic ship review. It's not necessarily a review on our actual trip of what we enjoyed, because we did have a lot of fun on the boat. You know, it was a good vacation.
And we'll get into that.
Anyway, so let's start out with the details. We took was it Eastern Caribbean? I think it was Eastern Caribbean cruise on Carnival Magic, leaving out of Port Canaveral in Florida.
On August 27th.
To September 3rd. Getting on the boat, besides us being towards the end of embarkation, as they call it, aka boarding, was pretty painless.
But it was actually better because of Jules.
Right. So we had Jules in a stroller. We kind of got priority boarding, in a sense. So we went through security. Security took all of 2 seconds. They scanned our bags and realized I had a drone in the backpack, which I wasn't trying to hide. So they kind of questioned it at first, like, what is it? You can't fly it on the boat, only on the islands. We're going to let security know you have it. Everything I was already prepared for. It wasn't anything like they're going to take the drone from me. I already talked to Carnival beforehand and got that all straightened out. Anyway, we walked up to the kind of like the VIP area where you'd actually, if you had like a suite, you'd go in that area. No.
Keith's dad happens to be a platinum member, so he kept saying he was going to get all these things. He was going to get on the boat faster than us because we're not platinum. Having Jules was actually more of a benefit than his platinum access.
Yeah. So we literally got up to the desk, checked in, gave her the information that the person checking us in, got our cards, and we basically were ready to go. We got held up because my dad, when he booked it, it wasn't linked up properly. That was a whole other issue. I don't think it was really Carnival's fault. It was just the way he booked it. No big deal. So the boat itself.
Now, mind you, let's just back up. We should have already said this. This was actually our second time on the Magic. We were on it last year from like late March up until, or no, maybe early April. Yeah, it was April 3rd through the 12th. 11th, something like that.
And that was actually out of Galveston, Texas. Much better port over Fort Lauderdale, but we'll get into that a little bit later probably. The boat itself, just like all the other Carnival boats we've been on, was very clean. You have the kids that run out and put glasses on anywhere they want and just run away from it. That's going to happen anywhere. But they were constantly cleaning it, constantly wiping everything down.
Me. My hair is bothering me.
So it was never like, oh my god, this is dirty. Never had that issue there.
Let's go into, actually, if we do it kind of day by day. So when we got on the ship, like we said, we had no problems. The first thing we wanted to do was change Jules. We knew she had an explosion. And it was an explosion, to say the least. So we got in our room right away. And our room is like any balcony room on a Carnival boat. Nothing more, nothing less. But it was very clean. We met our
room steward.
Okay, room steward. Very nice man. There wasn't the crib, and we requested a crib, aka a pack and play. But hey, still, he made sure we got it.
Yeah, I went up to talk to him. And he goes, oh yeah, you requested it, right? He goes, all right, we'll be in the room by 7 o'clock. And I think we went back down the room around 6, and it was already waiting there for us. Like, already made up, good to go.
We went to the Italian restaurant. Now, on our previous cruise, we loved the Italian. The portions were huge.
Kept bringing as much food as you wanted for the appetizers.
It was an excellent experience. This time, it was definitely different. Like, when we ordered the appetizers, they were like, well, we'll bring you enough. But when we asked for more of something, because it was like, we got like mini rice balls, and it was basically a ball per person. So when you wanted more, they kind of gave us a really weird look.
Yeah, like last time we asked for the rice balls, they're like, all right, I'll bring enough for the table, and it was a pile of them. Like, it was totally different. But the food overall was still really good. Couldn't
The
complain.
portions were definitely not as big.
Right. Since we dove into the food, we also went to the steakhouse, which was delicious. Definitely can't get the same quality meats and lobster that you would in the normal dining room. It was $35 for the steakhouse per person. It was also $15 for the Italian place per person. But the steakhouse for $35, you got an appetizer, a salad, a main course, and a dessert. So you got plenty of food for your $35. Worth every penny.
And we just kind of stumbled upon the Alchemy Bar, which was a highlight of the cruise. They were the nicest bartenders on the planet, and they made literally the best drinks.
Yeah, you couldn't get a better drink anywhere else on that ship.
That,
Whatever you wanted, they made for you.
That's where we ended up deciding to still get the beverage package. We were up in the air because, you know, having Jules now, we weren't going to just be able to party the way that we used to. So it was like, do we spend all that money?
Well, the drink package is $59.99 plus tax per day. So it really comes out to be $65 per day. You got to buy it for the length of the cruise. And you have day 1 or day 2 to buy it. So, I mean, 3-4 days in, you can't add it on at that point. That's it. And the drinks at the Alchemy Bar were $10.50 a piece. So really at 6 drinks, you know, you're breaking even. And then after that, it was basically free drinking.
We kind of went to breakfast knew we were going to like walk around. There really wasn't a lot at the breakfast buffet. It was every day. The only thing that they would change up would be the type of actual potato. It would either be like a hash brown or like roasted. There might have been a third type, but everything else was the same. It was like, of course, your omelet station, which was good. I wouldn't say it was the best omelet I had, but good. But then it was like bacon, ham, sausage,
Grits.
pancakes if you wanted them, French toast, waffles, but nothing is made to order. So like you would think, oh yeah, like the waffle really good. No, it was like soggy.
French toast is pretty nasty. Like I'm a picky eater, but I'm pretty good with the staples like the French toast, the waffles, the cereal, this and that. But the breakfast each day really wasn't anything special. I mean, you had an omelet once, twice, right?
I had the omelet once.
And what do you think of that?
I said it was good, but not great. Then throughout the day, like, you know, we were like, well, we're not going in the pool. We don't do that. And it wasn't really like hot that day, and we were still kind of exhausted. So we just walked around a lot. We checked out like the candy shop, which was the same. The whole like promenade, which is where the shops are. We walked around with Jules. For lunch that day, we ended up having like the guys barbecue, which is a new part of the boat. It's like a feature now that not all the boats have, but some boats
It's like their
do have.
2.0 fun ship thing.
The line was really long, but I would say like if you enjoy somewhat of a barbecue flavor and everything, it was good.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was definitely above average for what Carnival gives you. But they had pork, chicken, beef, sausages, and then like sides. Kind of from collard greens to macaroni and cheese. And different sauces, barbecue sauces. So it was a good variety. Yeah, long line. It was worth staying in line, I'll say that. But it wasn't anything like we were running to the next day. You know what I mean? We tried it, it was good. Like, all right, let's move on.
So that night for dinner, we actually did go to the dining hall. And now, I don't know if I've been on more cruises or you have, but together we've been on a lot. His dad and Tammy have been on more than us. This was probably, I hate to use the word worst dining room experience.
It was pretty bad.
But the first night we went was our first formal night, and it was slower due to that. I don't know if it's policy to drag dinner out.
Like it was like a 3 hour, almost
Okay.
a 3 hour.
Almost. It was 8:15 and we left there about 10:45. But it's like little things, you know, the bread used to be more like kind of baked right then and there, warm, hot. The bread was never
They
warm.
would keep coming by. Hey, do you need more bread? Do you need more bread? I mean, the drink orders, if they came, you were lucky. besides your water. Like if you wanted like a soda or a beer or some sort of drink, it took forever.
Our main waiter and then like the assistant waiters, they were nice, but sometimes you kind of like really, I don't want to say like develop a relationship.
They weren't very personable.
No, not at all.
We definitely had better waiters before.
And they were like definitely slow. The food, it was decent to good. Can't say, like the one night I actually had stuffed mushrooms for an appetizer, and I don't eat mushrooms, but I like the stuffing. So I left the button, but like the stuffing itself was really good. So it was like awkward what we really enjoyed and what we didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember what day I had what, but like I tried like, I had the steak one night, I had a pork chop one night, a chicken, and a lot of it just subpar. Wasn't really that great. Not a lot of it tasted like really fresh. Guess besides the steak, that was because they cooked that right then and there. But nothing was like, oh my god, this is delicious. Let me get 4 more of these.
On previous cruises, you would get like a menu book, and on the left side was like everything that they would have on the ship the entire week. That menu was the same, from appetizers to entrees to dessert. On the right side would be like today's specials for everything. Appetizer, entree, dessert. Now they don't do that. Like they give you like a piece of paper and it's like appetizer, like dinner and from the grill.
But from the grill was the same each night.
Well, not only that, like the salads, they were the same every night. So they tried to like change it up. And if it was your first cruise, you wouldn't know any better. But because we've cruised before, we realized the only thing they did was change the appearance.
Yeah, because there's some nights you look at the menu and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to get tonight. But previously, you could always like, well, I could fall back on the other menu and get this dish that I know would still be there. It was like a pasta dish usually they had like every night that you can get previously.
I believe I went to bed. I think Keith went to the casino that night.
I don't remember.
Wait, what did you think of the casino?
I mean, the casino was the basic Carnival casino. It wasn't that busy, which I was kind of surprised. Every night that we would like walk through, besides like the blackjack tables, I mean, it was pretty empty. Like the last cruise we went on, the casino was full like every night.
So the days at sea on our cruise, it was a 7-night cruise, and we had 4 days at sea. We went to San Juan, St. Thomas, Grand Turk, and Amber Cove. Amber Cove, great port. We went to a really nice place. Tammy rented a cabana.
It was like a Carnival only resort. So they had a pool, a restaurant, they had the cabanas, they had zip lining, water slides.
It was fun. San Juan, we made the mistake of walking around again in the heat. We all knew better. We should have went to the beach. You wanted to fly the drone. You did fly it there. Grand Turk, previously, we loved that island. But at that actual time, there were 2 Carnival ships, and that was a madhouse.
Yeah, it was our ship and another large Carnival ship. Not as big as ours, but the one size down. And they were there from 8 to 5, right?
8:30 to 4.
4, and then we were there from like noon to 5:30, something like that. And it was overcrowded.
It was a joke.
We waited online at the bar, the Margaritaville, for about 10-15 minutes. And we're at the bar, and we couldn't even get someone to look at us.
We left.
Yeah.
St. Thomas, it happened to be extremely hot again, and we made the decision that we didn't really want to go in a taxi with Jules. I felt unsafe because you don't take your car seat, and I just wasn't into it, which was fine. That was our choice. Other parents might do it. Our choice was not to do it. So when we walked around the island, we were there maybe an hour, 2 hours. It was brutally hot.
It was very humid, very hot. It was rough.
When we got back on the ship, we're like, you know what? Everybody's still out on the island. It's the perfect time for us to take Jules to the splash zone. So we go back to our room. We fully changed. We fully sunbathed Jules, like sunscreen her up, the entire thing, swim diaper, bathing suit, we're ready to go. And we walked down to the splash zone, and this is where it turned very ugly.
Yeah, they had the splash zone, which is designed for small kids. You know, they have the water slides up top, but they have like the sprinkler things, the water gets, splashed on you. Little baby slides for like 4 or 5-year-olds. But we literally go to step in, and the water is all about that deep. We were to step in with the baby, and they stop us. And they go, she has a diaper on. Of course, she has a swim diaper. Oh, she can't go in.
We were like, what? And another lady was there with her 18-month-old, so older than Jules, but still in a swim diaper. And she was saying that the day before, it's not a lifeguard, but the person on duty had no problem with that kid being in. Well, that day, of course, they had a stricter person refuse to let the baby, even though she was in the day before. So we were like, we want to speak to somebody above you. So they contacted like the director of the aquatics, and she was a joke. She tried saying that it was the policy. I took it as like the policy of anybody on a cruise. No, this was just Carnival's policy. That swim diapers are a risk, and they would have to stop, make all the children get out if there was an accident, and clean up because it's all the same water going from the pools to the aquatic area.
So it's actually like national health something policy on cruise lines. That, because basically all the water circulates throughout the pools and the splashes. They all are connected. So if an accident happens in spot A, it's going to B, C, D, and E, and then back to A. So yeah, they have to close all the pools down, drain them, sanitize, blah, blah, blah.
But I want to definitely mention this, which you weren't going to. They flat out said they are not concerned with urine. And to me, that is absolutely disgusting. I never went into pools on a cruise ship before, and after hearing that, I would never, even if you paid me, go into a pool. I was like, you have adults who are literally drinking like fishes, not getting out of the pool all day. You have children running around that aquatic splash area who are being too lazy to go to the bathroom. And she was like, we are not concerned with urine.
But we did find out on some Royal Caribbean boats and some Norwegian cruise line ships that they have a separate area for infants.
And toddlers.
So it's completely separate from the rest of the system. Little splash zone. So we will probably be looking to one of those boats for our next trip.
But it just so happened that night we went to the pub after a couple drinks at the Alchemy Bar, and Jules was with us and she was being herself. And it was like perfect timing to kind of get our mind back onto like a happy zone, because there was a guy like doing music, dancing with Jules because there was live music going on. And she was having a blast. She was herself. And this girl comes up, a Carnival worker, and she starts making a huge deal about Jules.
To a table, about 5 of them, I think, like right in front of us.
And they all come over. They're dancing with her. They're saying how cute she is. So the one guy goes, what's your room number? We want to send her a bear. So we're like, what? Kind of like looked at him. But we gave the number, like our room number. And then they left, like after a little bit, thanked us, like, oh, she's so cute again. So then after they even said the bear thing was coming, the waitress came over and she's like, oh, the next round is on them, and they're buying you a fishbowl, this huge drink. And we were like we were shocked.
Like, okay. Of course, I picked one, and it wasn't that good.
It was horrible.
I mean, if you're into sweet drinks, it was good, but it was just too sweet for us.
But it just so happened that kind of helped get us back onto like a happy place, like I said.
I gotta say, the staff in the pub, the Alchemy Bar, we're really the staff everywhere on Carnival. They're all very, very nice, very helpful. I don't think we ran into any unfriendly staff members.
No, besides the aquatic director and the girl at guest services.
Besides those two. But I mean, everyone was fantastic. And the bear did show up 2 days later. In the morning, they brought the bear over for us. But it actually was the entertainment director and a few other of the higher-ups in that group that we were hanging out with. But since we were in the Red Frog pub, the food there, we got the wings again. What else we got? Curry chicken rolls?
Yeah, and I got coconut shrimp.
Food there was good. And it's cheap. Good. It's like, it's extra.
$3.33 per thing.
Yeah, and they had like 8 or 9 things you could pick from, and they're all,
and 2 desserts, but we never got that.
Yeah, but the food was good. The staff there are great. The drinks are good, besides the one we picked. And they had live music in there every night. They had an acoustic player, like Jen was saying. Played a lot of country music, which, as you guys know, we're huge fans of. So that was a lot of fun.
To go into like the different places with different food, the one thing that was frustrating, because this was a 4-island ship, on the days at sea, they wouldn't really open the specialty little areas like the guys' barbecue, or there's like a taste bar, and they kind of feature different different foods from each of like the
Almost
specialties.
like a tapas style.
But they never opened that. So the only 2 days that you were able to get that were the 2 days at sea. The first day and basically the like last full day of the cruise. So that was frustrating.
Yeah.
Like you would think, even if you're like, if the boat is leaving a port at say 4 o'clock, extend the hour or open it from 4 to 6 or something.
Even having like, if we were hungry randomly and like the buffets would be closed, so we had to go like to the guy's burger place, or she would get like a
sandwich from the
sandwich from the deli. But I had like one buffet open, like almost like a 24-hour type buffet in a sense, but like a longer hour, because like you go and you're hungry at like random time, you're like, well, there's really no food here.
Yeah, it was a little weird. They too, on the past cruises, like at the burger area, which is now Guy's Burger,
Much better now.
they would have like nacho sauce for like tortilla chips, pita chips, salsa out. They would have that at like the Mexican area. None of that is there. So that's kind of like really weird. Why take pita chips and tortilla chips out?
But now at Guy's Burger Place, it's a bunch of like 4 types of beef burgers you can get, seasoned fries, and then like a whole like toppings bar, anything from onions to bacon to pickles and everything else in between, sauces. The burgers were definitely a huge step up from what they had before, and the fries were delicious.
Yeah, the fries were good. They were not gen friendly there, so I couldn't try any of the proteins. The burrito area, which is a new name, like step up from the original.
Cantina.
Their breakfast burrito was really good. Like I had 3 of them, I think, throughout the cruise at that point. And their other burrito was good.
I got their tacos. Tacos were good. But usually the taco line was on the side. So if you're actually going on one now, there was one line for the burritos, and the tacos were in front. And then never had a line to see later, because walk up, get 2 tacos, and you're out in 2 seconds.
Which is nice, not to have to like wait on a huge line.
Actually, there's 2 more things. The heat too. We'll talk about the heat first. So we noticed our room was warmer than usual. It wasn't anything crazy hot, but it was still comfortable. But I like my rooms cold. She likes it warm, so she was happy with it.
Yeah, I was fine.
But even my dad said it. I heard some other people complaining about the heat, especially in the hallways. And then in the last night, was it last night?
Yeah.
We're in the pub again, and it was so humid in there that it was dripping from the ceiling. It was kind of disgusting.
Like condensation coming down.
Towards the front where the guitar player was. But even the one bartender from the alchemy bar stated that it was definitely hotter. But yeah, it was gross.
So, like Keith said, the alcohol, I decided, it's duty-free and tax-free on a ship. So on past cruises, I've gotten anywhere from 4 bottles to 12 bottles. Yeah, one time was legit 12 bottles. That was crazy. Ridiculous. It lasted a long time though, and you save a whole lot of money. So that's the reason doing it. For instance, Captain was 2 big bottles, not handles,
liter bottles,
but liters for $22.
And usually you get the 750 milliliter, at least by us, for like $22, $23. $20 it's on sale. So
we were getting 2 Captains, and then we were going to get 2 bottles of Stoli. Again, liter. Stoli was $22 too. So $44, and then I was getting 4 bottles. So when I went to pay, I found out that their policy now is that you have to go the morning of leaving to get your alcohol.
At one of the main dining halls.
I said, well, we have a very early flight. We're leaving the boat like the first people off.
Like 7:30.
Yeah, ma'am, you get there, no problem. It will be ready for you. Okay, I didn't really think anything.
So previously, if you haven't done a cruise before, they would leave the alcohol outside your door, boxed up, taped up, the night before you got off the boat.
And even on some cruises I've been on, if you bought it the last night and it was like pretty late, they let you take it.
Yeah. It was less work they had to do. But also they want you drinking their alcohol, not the ones that you bought. That's why they do that. So Jen gets the alcohol. She goes, all right, you have to get the alcohol in the morning. I'm like, all right, no big deal. It shouldn't be that bad. So I leave the room at 10 for 6.
Yeah, 6:15 at the latest.
We're on the opposite side of the boat. So I walk over and I see the line. And the line stretched from the dining hall, across all the shops, into the other elevator area. There's 2 lines, one on each side. And I was in line for about 50 minutes. That's 50. I was still about a dozen or so people behind the start of the line, and I literally had to leave. I was right next to the picture stand, so I grabbed our pictures, which is another ripoff, which is just expensive. They're great pictures, but they're expensive. And we had to leave, so we left without the alcohol. So I had to email Carnival, and they were good about it. It was a new thing they were testing out. Carnival doesn't actually own the gift shops. They lease it out to the companies. So they apologized, blah, blah, offered us a free gift for our next cruise, and they refunded our money. I mean, you can't really ask for much more.
But did we ever actually get the $44 back?
Yeah, I checked.
Okay.
It took, like 3-4 days for it to process, but we got the money back. Overall, to recap, the boat was nice. It was clean, friendly staff. It was warm, but the last cruise on this ship was nice and cool. So it was definitely an electrical issue during that trip. Everything was pretty smooth for the most part, even with Jules, and everyone was very accommodating, friendly with the baby. So I mean, we couldn't really complain.
Besides for
the pool.
Yeah, the aquatic issue. On a scale of 1 to 10, I personally would give it like a 6. 7 at high, 6 at low. Just because like the whole thing with Jules really did bother me. Yeah. And I still now, over a month later, I still think it is so absolutely wrong. Especially knowing that other boats have a solution for the problem. If like every single cruise ship on the planet didn't allow it, well then it was us not knowing any better. But that's not the case. And
this ship was the one class behind the Vista, which is their biggest ship they have out. So it's not like it's a small, older ship. It's one of the newer, redone ships. But yeah, so I think that's going to be it. So if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'll check the comments. I'll answer if anyone has any questions. But I mean, this is different from our normal daily vlogs that we do. So check out our channel for that. But so yeah, it's just a separate cruise review for the Carnival Magic. So give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below with any questions that you have. Check out our channel. Please subscribe. And we'll see you on our daily vlogs.
Have a good one.
Good night.